Let me ask you a question. Why do you play video games? I think the answer for most of us is escapism. A place to leave behind the relentless grind of life, and there's an unparalleled joy in immersing yourself in a game at the end of a long week that offers refuge from reality. Today we're diving into a game where escape from the monotony of corporate life was key in its inspiration. Stardew Valley is a timeless gem cherished by players over many years. Your story begins with a letter from your ailing grandpa entrusting you with the ownership of a dilapidated farm. From the confinement of your cubicle, you break free of your corporate job and set out to rebuild the farm, cultivating not only crops but forging meaningful connections to shape the destiny of the farm into a flourishing success. Right from the outset, you assume the mantle of responsibility for an array of tasks aimed at resurrecting the farm. Starting with the acts of sowing seeds, watering crops, you then graduate to tending animals and mining for precious ores. Every task drains a small amount of energy, which you'll need to keep an eye on and rejuvenate by sleeping or bathing in the public baths. And the game has a charming repetitiveness where each day is spent working towards a bigger goal of whatever you want. We can all agree the game is loads of fun, and it's resonated with players all around the world. But let's rewind back to the game's origin and meet the person who brought this game to life. Barone. In 2011, armed with a computer science degree, Eric encountered the familiar struggle of job hunting that many graduates face. Confronted with the challenge of distinguishing himself in a competitive job market, Eric started to create a game after a string of unsuccessful interviews. His plan was to finish the game project upon securing employment, but destiny had a slightly different script in mind. What started as a humble endeavour to enhance his resume kickstarted a 4.5-year project, far bigger than his original vision. In 2016, Eric unleashed the fully realised Stardew Valley, a labour of love that exceeded all expectations. Originally aspiring for a modest 10,000 copies sold, Eric's pride in his creation swelled as Stardew Valley surpassed the 20 million mark, with its popularity continuing to soar to this day. That's a very short summary of how Stardew Valley came to be in existence, but I think it's really worth reiterating what those 4.5 years of development really meant. Juggling part-time responsibilities at a local theatre, Eric seized every available moment to breathe life into his creation, covering everything from the music, script, programming, and art. To compare this to the general life cycle of game development, the average independent game takes a couple of years to create, with a team of people behind it, each person responsible for their area of expertise. Eric's solo journey stands as a testament to unparalleled discipline and unwavering determination. One man against the odds turned a vision into a reality. So let's delve into the enchanting realm of Stardew Valley itself. Embraced by a global community of millions, the game draws its inspiration from the beloved Harvest Moon series, a title that held a special place in Eric's gaming heart. This influence is unmistakably found in Stardew Valley's charming art style, a celebration of an elegant pixel art simplicity. A glimpse into the early artwork shows the meticulous evolution of the game's imagery, with new landscapes taking shape and characters undergoing transformative makeovers from their initial sketches. In a delightful twist, ConcernedApe, as Eric is affectionately known, generously shared a glimpse into the genesis of his creative process. A tweet revealed original concept art and sketches from an aged notebook, a treasure trove of inspiration for the whimsical Junimos, the magical creatures that populate the game's universe. In an interview with GQ, Eric states that the townfolk in particular went through an extensive design process, with each one being redesigned around 10 times throughout development, their appearance becoming more detailed with subtle differences until he was completely happy with them. Despite the long hours, Eric committed to an ethos of create, move on to something else, then revisit and recreate. Having the freedom of being the only developer, this methodology allowed him to use the initial graphics and gameplay as foundation and build upon it to improve to a level he was satisfied with. In the interview, he admits that the work was painstakingly boring at times, however he wanted the game to feel like a living place, with gameplay remaining flexible and open. Ultimately, the game can be labelled as a farming simulator, a genre that's gained massive popularity since Stardew Valley's release, and has led to a number of similar projects come to life. What makes Stardew Valley a true success is in the detail. Eric has been described as a perfectionist, which led him to tweaking aspects of the game way up until even the release. But it turns out that this paid off, as it meant the joy of the player was kept in mind rather than compromising to meet a tight deadline. One example of this is the length of day, which is about 17 minutes. Many tweaks were made to keep the days short enough to make sure the player was engaged and feel challenged enough, but not too long that it would cause boredom and felt like a proper passage of time. All of this brings us to our finale and the release of the game. Despite running into a game-breaking bug hours before release, Stardew Valley still went live as planned. Within 2 weeks, the game had sold over 400,000 copies across Steam and Good Old Games. And within 2 months, this number rose to over 1 million, far beyond what Eric had ever predicted. The game was a hit with players rating it 10 out of 10. The positive reception and success stoked the fires of Eric's ambition, and since launched he has kept the game updated, added new romance possibilities, quests, multiplayer, locations, and even farm layouts. Overall, I think we can all agree that the success from the work Eric put into the game is definitely well deserved. There is, however, another element to this story that many seem to overlook. Eric's girlfriend Amber. With all this hard work being inspiring, it wasn't without consequence. Eric's partner Amber also felt the effects of his hard work, who found herself feeling lonely as her other half was essentially spending 12 hours a day working on a game, then leaving for an evening shift at the theatre, with Amber paying most of their bills. It was an incredibly risky move for the pair if the game ever failed. However, Eric was incredibly committed to the game, and equally Amber to him, who continued to support them both during all those years of development. And as we would hope from any happy ending, they are still together to this day and committed as ever. After the launch of the game, the couple took a long road trip with their housemates, travelling over many states with what was a well-deserved break. So what's next on the horizon for ConcernedApe? Well, despite still giving us updates and content with Stardew Valley, he's also diligently working on his next game, The Haunted Chocolatier. As the title suggests, players will assume the role of a chocolatier who has recently inherited a shady chocolate shop, filled with paranormal activity. In order to learn the secrets of the ghost chocolatier's shop and the town it resides in, players must use a combination of exploration, puzzle solving, and storytelling components in the game. From an interview with Screen Rant, Eric revealed that gathering ingredients was key to the gameplay, with the ability to grow with the shop and build a small empire. It sounds like the perfect game if you've ever wanted to dip a toe into the world of confectionery, with ghosts. Right now there's no fixed release date for The Haunted Chocolatier, but like they say, perfection takes time, and considering his previous success took 4.5 years to create, we're still in the early days, but as always we'll be waiting in anticipation of an announcement. So does this mean that Stardew Valley is dead? Absolutely not. Eric is still updating and fixing bugs for the game, keeping it alive with content. There's also some side projects in development such as Stardew Valley Cookbook to be released in spring 2024, and the Festival of Seasons, which is a live performance of the music from the game from a chamber orchestra. ConcernedApe is still very active on Twitter, and I'd recommend giving him a follow to see what's in the works and what's coming up. However, both he and the community are still very invested in Stardew Valley. To wrap up, Stardew Valley is a wonderful example of what people can do when they have a vision, the discipline and passion to pursue something, even in the face of skepticism. I've no doubt that the same level of care will be going into Eric's next game, and I can't wait to check it out. As a closing statement, thanks to Eric and Amber, who together brought joy to so many people and provided the rat race escape that many of us can only dream of. What are your thoughts? Comment below and subscribe for more videos like this. See you next time.